Thank you for bearing with us
Oh,
with
it's
our
okay.
technical difficulties. Um, so today I am interviewing Amanda Necker to consider for an elementary classroom position. The date is April 26, 2017. My name is Amanda Connolly. And is it okay to record your interview and use it to help others learn more about this interview process?
Yes.
Thank you. Is the information in your application current and up to date?
Yes. Oh, now it is.
What degrees do you hold or are in the process of earning?
I am certified to teach. I have Missouri teaching certification for birth to 3 and then 1 through 6.
Describe for me your experiences in working with children, including grade and subject areas.
Well, I student taught in Hazelwood for 8 weeks, and I was in a kindergarten classroom, and then I student taught also at Wentzville for 8 weeks in a first grade classroom. And then from there, I was an instructional assistant at Ferguson Florissant for their preschool program. And from there, I moved to Normandy, and I was there for 2 years at their early childhood program. And I am currently with Youth in Need as the Head Start lead teacher.
Thank you. I'm going to go ahead and get started with the formal interview questions, if you're okay with that.
Mm-hmm.
So you are meeting with a new student. What is your most important priority?
I think the most important thing is just to kind of build a relationship with that child, find out what they like, what they enjoy, just build a connection with them, because without a connection and if they don't feel comfortable or safe with you, like no real learning can take place.
So you really answered, but why is this your most important priority?
Just because, well, I want to get to know the children. I want to be able to just find out more about them and see how I can help them more and how I can help them grow, and that's just really important to me. Like that's the whole reason why I want to be a teacher. So
You overhear two students talking about being treated unfairly by you. What would be your first thought?
I think initially I would really just kind of think about maybe things that I was doing, and then I would want to talk to them to see like why do you feel that way, like what am I doing that makes you think that, and if it is, adjust things on my end so it doesn't come across that way, because I would like to think that I would never treat a student unfairly. So just kind of try to hear their perspective and kind of just have a conversation with them.
How do you ensure you are treating all students fairly?
I think the most important thing is just to I just lost my train of thought. I think the most important thing is just to make sure you're consistent with everything, and just really being aware of what you're doing and making sure it's purposeful, and just staying consistent across the board.
Is it likely a parent might accuse you of not understanding her point of view regarding her child?
I think that's always something that can happen, but I mean, I've never had that problem in the past. Like I try to establish like good relationships with the students as well as the families, and
If
just
it did happen, how would you respond to the parent?
I think again going to have a conversation with them and just trying to figure out what I could do differently, or maybe what they try at home, or just have a better understanding of where they're coming from, because maybe it's just a misunderstanding or a miscommunication.
Okay. One of your colleagues tells you to always validate the feelings of a student. Is that a good idea?
I think you should validate the feelings of children. I mean, because everyone has emotions and you can't change that. And sometimes, sometimes all the child needs is that validation. Like I can see that you're upset. Like, what can we do to help you, or what can we do to change that?
So how do you validate the feelings of a student?
I think the biggest thing is just kind of talking to them about it, and I've had a lot of conscious discipline training, and that's a big thing with conscious discipline, is kind of letting them know, like, you're mad and that's okay, but we can do this or we can do this, and just giving them that power to identify how they're feeling and giving them the tools that they need to self-regulate.
A student teacher is teaching your class and has a wonderful idea to make the class more interesting. You are concerned the idea will affect the amount of content to be covered. Could this be a real situation?
I think it could be a real situation.
So how would you handle the situation?
I think you could go over the material with the student teacher and see, like, what the idea, like, what exactly his or her idea is, and kind of see where things could be changed, or where you could add more content or take away more content, or just find a way to schedule it in to make it work so the students are learning everything they need to know.
Do you design and write out a lesson plan in detail for an activity or unit?
I do.
So what is the essential component you must include in your lesson plan to make sure students are learning?
I know with our current lessons we have individualization for every child, so we go through and we set a goal for each child, and then we make sure that whatever activity we're doing, we can connect to each child's individual goal. Did that answer the question?
The question was, what is the essential component you must include in your lesson plan to make sure students are
Okay,
learning?
so for me it's individualization.
As a teacher, how important is your classroom learning environment?
I think it's very important.
Okay. When you are organizing the environment, what would you be sure to accentuate?
I think it's important to have kind of like a clean, organized place, but also somewhere that kind of feels like home. Like you want the students to be comfortable, and you want to be able to create that like school family, and just making sure that also that the students have a input on what the environment looks like as well.
Your team of teachers is having a serious discussion about the issue of teaching specific facts or applied learning to students. Would you participate in the conversation?
Can you repeat the question?
Sure. Your team of teachers is having a serious discussion about the issue of teaching specific facts or applied learning to students. Would you participate in the conversation?
I think I would definitely listen and kind of participate, because like it's always interesting to hear other people's perspective and what other people find importance in. And I mean, maybe sometimes you might think one way, and hearing something that someone else says is valid. And
So what would be your input into the discussion?
While I think like facts, like understanding facts are good, because I mean you need facts to learn, but I think it's from everything I've learned that people learn best through doing. So just being able to have that chance to have an opportunity to go out and do it, to go out and teach it, to do that cooperative learning and stuff like that is really important.
A colleague of yours is really motivated when she works with students. What effect would that have on student learning?
It would have a positive effect.
So what do you do each day for yourself so you stay mentally motivated to work with students?
I think, so one thing that I've learned at my current job is that it's important to just have that self-care, like even if it's only for a few minutes, like just kind of taking whatever you, like there might be a million things going on, not necessarily like leaving it on at the door, but like just remembering what's most important. And for me, what's most important is working with children. And so I like sometimes there might be some mornings where there's like a million things going on, but it's just like the second I walk in the room, I just kind of take a deep breath and like get ready for everything, and usually have a few minutes, and then I'm just like, okay, this is what we're doing, this is what I'm really excited about. And I think as long as I stay excited about what I'm doing, like it won't be a problem to have those to be excited about being there. So
Your principal asks you to partner with a parent of the student in your classroom. How would you respond?
Just for, just to partner with them for, I guess it doesn't.
Yeah.
I would be excited.
Okay. Then how do you build partnerships with parents to enhance student learning?
I think just having that open communication and talking with parents and finding out what they're like, is not only the students but the parents, to see what they're interested in and what they would like to help with, and just kind of having an open door policy that, you know, parents can come in and help whenever they want, or if they have any really good ideas that they'd like to share with us, then that would be awesome. I mean, you never know what somebody else's idea might be, and it might be something that's really beneficial to not only you but the students as well.
Your team members are discussing the principal's expectation to meet the unique learning needs of all culturally diverse students. Would you support your principal's expectation?
I would.
So how would you meet the unique learning needs of all of your culturally diverse students?
I think just looking into like what the cultures were and learning more about them and educating myself, and maybe asking questions to whether it be the administration or other teachers or the families themselves, just to find out more, because I wouldn't want to do anything that would be offensive or go against anyone's culture. And so just really, I guess, just educating myself more and finding out more information.
How do you want most students to describe you to their friends?
I think the biggest thing would to be like someone who cares about them and someone who wants, who does push them to be better. And obviously everyone wants to be likable, but I also want to be effective. I don't know if students would describe a teacher as effective, but I think if you do invest in students and you show them that you care, they will, like, there will be a mutual respect, and they will push themselves to do better as well.
Okay. Why do you want students to describe you that way?
Probably just because, like, when I think back to every teacher that I've ever had, like, that's kind of how I felt. And I mean, if it wasn't for the teachers that I had, I wouldn't be the person that I am today. So it's a personal experience.
Okay. A student believes you were not fair in grading her last exam. What would you do?
I feel like I keep going back to this, but I would have a conversation with them, and just to see, you know, find out why they feel that I wasn't being fair, and answer any questions that he or she may have, and kind of find out where there was a problem, like where there was a disagreement, and just give them an opportunity to kind of explain where they were coming from, and then I can explain where I was coming from. But
Why would you respond in that manner?
I think part of it too could be that, you know, all people can make errors. So, I mean, maybe I misread something or misunderstood something, and maybe I was wrong. And so giving them the opportunity to kind of have that conversation allows me to review it too.
Could two students engaged in a conversation respond disrespectfully to each other?
I'm sure that they can, but that's not the desired atmosphere that I don't think anyone would want in their classroom. I know me, I would hope that I could build a community of learners where they are respectful, and you can disagree in a respectful way. And
So if you overhear the conversation, what actions would you take?
I think just kind of, I think modeling would be a big tool that you could use for that. Just kind of rephrasing what they may say, and kind of oh, I'm hearing you say this, so you're saying that, you know, you think differently than this person. And I mean, because you can't get upset for a student doing something that they don't know how to do it if they don't know how to do it any other way. So I think modeling would be a big thing, and just trying to prevent it from happening frequently.
Many teachers want to have a celebration for a colleague who has won a National Teacher Award. Some apathetic teachers are resisting the idea. Does this sound like a real situation?
I think it probably could happen.
So what actions would you take?
I think me personally, I would be happy for the other person and just kind of, I'm really into talking about things, so just kind of just talking about it, and this person works really hard, and I know we all work really hard, but I mean, you can't force anyone to celebrate another person, but I mean, I think we should all try to be positive about it.
A student is not achieving in your class. You believe the student has a lot of talent. Could this occur in your classroom?
Yes.
So what actions would you take to bring about a change in the student's performance?
I think finding out what motivates the student and or what interests the student, and kind of use those things to help move them forward and help them get them to the level that you want them to be at. I mean, I would do that in a way, I would want to do it in a way where it was intrinsically motivated, though not I'm going to give you this if you do that. So just finding out what the interests are and help move them forward.
Okay. As a cooperating teacher, would you seek feedback from your student teacher to enhance student learning?
I think so.
What strategies would you use to collect such information from your student teacher?
I think sometimes just through observation you can learn things, and even I know with student teaching there is sometimes a feedback form, and just having an open door policy or open relationship. I don't know if that's the right word I was looking for, but just to where you can have those conversations and get feedback, because I mean, there's always room to improve and to grow. So,
Could a colleague's teaching style be way too student-centered?
No.
A close colleague of yours tells you your teaching style is way too student-centered. What would you say to your colleague?
I would want, I want my teaching style to be student-centered. I want them to be able to have that motivation to want to learn more and to want to be, just to keep striving to be better and learn more. From everything I've learned, it's always been the teacher's the facilitator, the students should be learning or doing the learning, and it's just, again, from everything I've learned, it's not effective to just sit there and lecture. And so I would want my classroom to be student-led, and just kind of explain that to my colleague and ask them, what do you think, the benefits of doing it differently are, and again, I mean, maybe it would change, but in my mind, I think student-led learning is probably the best for my classroom personally, but I know that might not work for everyone.
The proposed curriculum guide requires you to spend more time with students on classroom learning and less time on real-world applications. Is that a good idea?
I don't know. I think both are pretty important. But I mean, I know there is a lot of things that you learn in the classroom that you didn't really think were real world application. So I think they can go hand in hand, really.
So what would you say to your principal?
I think I would just want to find out more about the curriculum and learn more about it, just so, because I can't make a judgment call on something that I am not familiar with. So I would want to become more familiar and ask if there were any like trainings about it, or if we were going to have an opportunity to review it, if there was going to be professional development, just so we could become more familiar and be effective in teaching it that way.
One of your colleagues believes every student in her classroom can be motivated to learn. Is that realistic?
Yes.
So how do you get all students to learn?
I think, again, just going back to building those relationships, finding out what they're interested in, and just trying to keep pushing them forward, making it fun for them. And I think if you do build those positive relationships and make things relatable to them, they will be motivated to learn.
Your school has an initiative to partner on a project with a business person in your community. How would you respond?
I think that would be a really neat opportunity.
How would you connect this partnering to your student learning?
Finding out more about the business and kind of explaining it to the students, and just getting them excited about it and telling them what information I know about it and how it can benefit our school or our community, and just kind of having, like, I guess, a small like study or lesson or something about it, just to get them excited about it.
Your students are not understanding the worth and dignity of classmates who are different. Is that possible?
I think it is possible, but
What would you do to bring about a change?
I know it's kind of going back to the question about like the cultural differences, but just kind of bringing, like, every person is unique, and kind of having a conversation about that. And like, we could all go around talking about something that is important to us, or what makes us special, or something along those lines, and just kind of having a celebration about how everybody's different, and that's okay. And that's, we wouldn't all want to be the same anyway. So just kind of having conversations, teaching new information, and learning more about each other.
So that concludes the questions we have for you today. Is there anything else you would like to tell us about yourself?
I'm just really excited to be here. I know it's just the initial interview, but I graduated from Rittner. I am just so excited about the opportunity of working here, and so thank you for giving me the chance and having an interview. And that's all I really have.
Thank you. Turn this off.